This is my daughter-in-law, Ariel.
Hello.
And we're about to start on the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon Loop. And this Ariel's first bike packing route. She has done touring before, but she hasn't ever done it self-supported. So here we go. We are starting at an ironically named place called Jersey Shore and a lovely little commuter parking lot. So off we go. It's a beautiful fall day, like 60 degrees out, sunny. Couldn't ask for a better day. The Pennsylvania Grand Canyon Loop is published on Bikepacking.com and was created by Francesca Laurandi. My daughter-in-law Ariel selected this route because of its low difficulty rating, given that it's her first bikepacking trip, and its proximity to her home in Delaware. The route starts on the relatively flat Pine Creek Rail Trail. This hard-packed gravel, multi-use trail runs along Pine Creek at the center of the 1,500-foot deep Pine Creek Gorge that's been dubbed the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. The railway that led to this trail was abandoned in 1988 and opened as the rail trail in 1996. It's hard to believe, looking around, that this gorge was once stripped bare by clear cutting. So much so that it became known as the Pennsylvania Desert. In the early 20th century, though, the state of Pennsylvania began acquiring private lands for reclamation, and since then, a number of state parks, forests, and wild areas were created along the gorge, aiding conservation efforts. Ariel and I started today's ride relatively late in the day, around 3 p.m., after driving 4 hours through Pennsylvania's narrow, winding roads in the heart of Amish country. We commented now on how the late afternoon light highlighted the colorful autumn leaves and created dramatic shadows along the forest floor. Today we'd have about 35 miles to ride to our primitive campsite at the 7-mile campground in the Tioga State Forest. We'd ride at a steady, relaxed pace to ease into the weekend and enjoy the sights along the way. On the drive up here, I was asking Ariel why the roads are called pikes in Pennsylvania. And we looked it up. There's a car coming. And it turns out they're named after these things. A turnpike, which was like a way to keep people off the road until they paid. And then it just got truncated into pike. So now they call some of their roads pikes. The more you know. It turns out that there are a lot of terms in this area that I'm not familiar with, coming from the Midwest. Like runs. A run in Pennsylvania refers to a small flowing creek. A hollow is a small secluded valley, often with a stream or run flowing through it. And a gap is a break through a mountain ridge that serves as a natural transportation passage. I love learning about these regional differences in what we call things. Slate Run Road. We are definitely not on a flat hill, flat road anymore. At this point of the route, we've left the Pine Creek Rail Trail and have started ascending to the western rim of the gorge. After this initial punchy climb, we'd continue to slowly gain elevation over the next few miles. Tioga State Forest. The word Tioga is of Iroquois origin and is believed to refer to Pine Creek. After the land was acquired between the 1900s and 1930s, the State Forestry Commission began planting millions of trees to reforest the barren land. Okay, we're about 4 miles away from our campsite tonight. How's the ride going so far, Ariel?
Pretty good. One kicker of a hill, but otherwise fairly nice.
Yes. What was your favorite part so far?
Going by the river and seeing all of the various sights between the leafy, greeny shrub areas and the wide open, almost Montana-like river spots.
Yes, and the fly fishermen.
And the fly fishermen.
Yeah.
Made it very Montana-esque.
Very Montana-like. We're having a good time. Yay! I'm so grateful to be spending this time with Ariel, who married my son Ian almost a year ago this month. I've known her since she was in high school when she met my son on the local mountain biking team. I've enjoyed many rides with Ariel, Ian, and her family over the years in Minnesota. But this is my first time riding on the East Coast, and I feel so lucky to be able to ride it with her and amidst the gorgeous fall colors. Around 6 p.m., we roll into 7 Mile Campground and set up our tents. By the time we sit down to dinner, it's already getting dark. We have our hot meals and head to our tents. The next morning, we head down to the creek to filter water. Down here, filtering water, this beautiful stream. It's very cold out though. Cold hands. Ariel filtering water like a pro.
That feels like milking a cow, but opposite.
Very chilly last night. Should be nicer today. Getting ready to roll out. Saying goodbye to our pretty campsite. So nice to see the sun. We're starting out our day 2 with the climb out of our camp. It's a climby day today, but we can do it. Today we'll ride close to 50 miles. We'll start by winding along the west rim of the canyon, gaining in elevation as we work our way north. Later, we'll make a tight turn in the town of Ansonia to return south along the river. Just cutting through right on the side of the hill. Definitely in peak color here. A little past peak. The only flowers I really spot are some faded New England asters, but ferns and moss are plentiful. Ferns on the side of the road. They have all of these cabins along the route, and Ariel and I think that they're probably for reserving if you want to do that instead. Pretty primitive, like that's a outhouse. But they're kind of cool. It makes you wonder about the history of them before this trail was created. Here's another one of those cabins for rent. Middletown Camp, it says. Middletown. For much of the morning, the road surface was a chunky gravel, slowing our progress. So now we're excited when we hit a section of smooth gravel and a lot of downhill to go with it. Occasionally, we're treated to overlooks where the trees have been cleared enough to see views of the river gorge below. A little bit of a downhill for a while here. We fall into a rhythm of climbing and descending over the next miles, often following the contours of smaller gorges inland, then climbing again along a ridgeline out. We stop for vistas. Wow. Downhill coming. Whee! Look at this tree. When we first started out, we didn't see a lot of color. And now we're seeing all kinds of fall color. It's beautiful. It would not be a Katrina adventure without going on a road closed. So here we go.
Bike fits.
We actually got intel from the bike packers earlier, Ryan and Eric, that it's totally rideable, not to worry about it. So that's what we're doing. Benefits of being a bike rider, not a motor vehicle. We're at the end of the road closed section, and there was no drama. I like no drama. Yeehaw! What is this? I guess is an old well house or something. Well, my guesses ranged from a pump house to a mini fort. My research showed that this structure just before Colton Point State Park was an incinerator, likely built in the 1930s by the Civilian Conservation Corps. It's made of stone with an interior lined in brick. Ariel guessed that it was a kiln, making her officially the smarter of the two of us. Soon we arrived at Colton Point State Park, where we'd check out the view of the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon from an overlook, then have a picnic lunch at a nearby shelter. Later today, we'd be at the bottom of the gorge, looking up at this spot. A speedy tarmac descent would take us to the tiny town of Ansonia, where we'd make a sharp turn to head southward down the gorge, once again on the Pine Creek Rail Trail. So many people using the trail, they just appreciate having this resource here. Yeah, look at that. Gorge. A short diversion from the Pine Creek Rail Trail up the Turkey Path steps brings you to the little 4-mile run waterfalls. You can also access this path from the top through Leonard Harrison State Park. A lot of stairs. While we'd originally planned to camp at Tyadotten Campground tonight, Ariel and I both felt we had more in our legs today, so we decided to go another 10 miles to Hoffman Campground. Hoffman featured an open field with sites at the edges. Comfort stations, what they call toilets here, were centrally located, and there was stream access on one side. With no motor vehicle access, all of the campers were on bikes. Our campsite includes a food hook for your bear bag. It's just kind of cool. I've never seen that before. Getting to the water in the morning was a bit of a challenge with the steep river bank, but I made it work. Okay, here we go, heading out from Hoffman Campground back to the car today. Day 3. It's a beautiful sunny morning. We did not freeze last night, which was nice. We got a nice healthy rain, but everything pretty much dried out enough to pack this morning, so I'm feeling pretty spoiled. Feeling very spoiled. So here we go. Adventure awaits. There's a mystery hill coming up. We say mystery because this is a rail trail and there should not be a hill. So we're trying to figure out how that could be. So stay tuned. So cool. So we found our mystery climb. Turns out we're not taking the Pine Creek Rail Trail. We're taking a different one. So this is like a little in-between road to get to the mid-state trail. And here's the climb. Riding up into the mountain, riding up into the dark. This little bit is pretty steep. Today would once again take us away from the river and onto a mountain ridge, this time on the eastern side of the Pine Creek Gorge. And although it would be less overall climbing today than yesterday, we'd gain most of our elevation in a 7-mile span. Oh, look at. This part of the ride was nothing short of magical. Light filtered through the colorful fall leaves and reflected off puddles from last night's rains. A stream sparkled next to the road, dancing in and around moss-covered rocks. If a fairy had suddenly landed on my front bag, I would have thought, yeah, that tracks. I told Ariel, Pennsylvania knows how to do woods.
Still climbing.
We climbed out of the woods and into farmland. And then I had this weird interaction with a local exercising his dog. Clearly, I had missed the memo about crossing to the wrong side of the road when an OHV is coming directly at you.
Look at this little pastoral scene. I love how the leaves are all drifting down in front of us. You see that? Does that look like a hill on GoPro? Because it's a hill. I'm on a hill, and that's more hill.
Now it was time for some fast descending on gravel roads. I remember following Ariel down descents on mountain bikes and may or may not have been dropped by her at a downhill mountain bike park. This is to say, I had no problem following her lines during this part of the ride. In fact, I enjoyed it. This section of the route was just before the town of English Center, where we'd hoped to get lunch at a local tavern. We were disappointed to discover it was closed, but continued on in hopes we'd find another.
We are currently in Little Pine State Park. Just went by a gun range, scared the crap out of me. Otherwise, very lovely. This is the Little Pine State Park Dam and vista. Look at the vista.
We both grabbed our breaks when we came upon the Happy Acres restaurant, where we enjoyed a hot meal of burger and fries.
We're back on the Pine Creek Rail Trail.
After lunch, we dropped into Waterville, where we once again met up with the Pine Creek Rail Trail. From here, it would be just a quick 11 miles back to our car.
Okay, Ariel, we're finishing up our ride. Impressions?
Bikepacking is fun.
Yes.
Hills can be annoying, especially when you never know when they end. The bikepacking has an organization to forced organization that I really like.
That's good.
And overall, I want to keep doing this.
Yay! That's what we like. Here's to a successful trip.
Very successful trip.
Woo!
Made wise decisions throughout it.
That's right. And we had some good luck too.
Yeah.
All right. Signing off.
I was honored that Ariel invited me on this trip, and I loved every minute of it. I got to discover a part of the country I'd never explored, and now she's ready to start exploring on her own. I can't wait to see where her adventures take her.